Thank you very much. Thank you for including me. I am, as the Republican candidate, often excluded from these forums, so I very much appreciate being included this time. My name is Joe Mendola. I am the Republican candidate for New York City Comptroller. Comptroller is a very important job. It's the chief fiscal officer of the city. It has many ways that can directly affect the issues of poverty. We already heard about setting up the living wage and monitoring that, etc. The other important way that the controller can affect issues of poverty are auditing city agencies, making sure our funds are being spent correctly and wisely. Also, the controller is involved with managing and investing city pension funds. To the extent that that's done successfully, the need for taxpayer bailouts to make up the difference in shortfalls of these investments is obviated, so that these funds can then be used for more valuable programs such as homelessness, housing, etc. What I bring to the table is I am not a politician. This is the first time that I am running for public office. I was asked to seek the office based on my private sector experience. I'm what's called a chief compliance officer. That means that for the last 20 years I've been registered with the SEC, the NASD, the New York Stock Exchange. And it's my job to make sure that the money management firm that I work for manages all the money that it does in a way that's transparent, responsible, accountable, exactly the skills that the controller should have. I'm not seeking to be mayor. I really feel that I can make a contribution based on my experience to be controller for the sake of being controller. I think that I have the skills necessary to make the office less political, more nonpartisan, more of a fiduciary, which is really what the controller is, a fiduciary, a gatekeeper, if you will, of city finances. I'll simply conclude by telling you just a little bit about myself. I'm a native New Yorker, born here in Manhattan, raised in Queens, went to college in the Bronx, law school at Columbia. I am a single dad of 2 small children who are part of the New York City school system. And you're also looking at a very lucky guy. On September 11th, '01, I worked on the 79th floor of the Trade Center. And God was really good to me that day and to my children, and I got out. And as corny as this might sound, I really feel blessed. I really feel lucky. I've been given so many great blessings, and I would really like to give something back, and I feel that through this position I could give something back constructive to make the city a better place, not only for myself, but for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the Coalition Against Hunger for putting this important forum together. I want to thank all of you for spending an afternoon with this. My name is John Liu, and I'm proud to be the Democratic and Working Families Party nominee for New York City Comptroller. Delighted to join my rival once again, Joe Mendola. It's been a while since we've been on the panel together. But nonetheless, these are important issues, even more critical in these times when the economy is reeling and people are losing jobs, and in many cases people losing homes as well. So hunger and poverty become much more pronounced problems in our city and society. I am running for city comptroller based on my experience and knowledge of city government. I have had the privilege of serving in the New York City Council for just about 8 years now. Before I was in the City Council, my professional background was in finance, specifically as an actuary, and so I intend to bring my combination of experience and skills together to be essentially what is the Chief Financial Officer of New York, the comptroller's position. I am not a native New Yorker. I'm an immigrant myself, born in Taiwan. My family came here when I was 5 years old, and we struggled as many immigrant families have in the past. I'm proud to be a product of New York City public schools, kindergarten through 12th grade. Went on to school upstate to earn my degree in mathematical physics, and I came back and entered the finance world. And so I've truly enjoyed my time in the City Council, even though I don't have much political background before that. And now I am looking to do whatever more I can, and I believe I can do more for New York City and the people therein as comptroller. And today's issues, I know that you'll have a lot of questions for us, so I suppose that is my opening, and I look forward to the questions.
Okay, now we're going to the question about the mayor's current Center on Economic Opportunity and its various projects, and what would you tell me to tell my students about what needs to be modified in these projects?
Well, I think we've heard a great deal about it already. I think that the mayor this is one of his anti-poverty and economic opportunity initiatives, and I think, you know, for lack of better words, I think the results have been mixed, if not lackluster. I think that the efforts to really combat poverty and hunger in this city have not utilized all the resources to the fullest extent. I think people in this city should be afforded the opportunity to feed themselves and their families better. I think that job training and providing economic development all across 5 boroughs in this city so that people can get jobs in the locales where they live. I think all of those initiatives, all of those needs can be better addressed through these initiatives. And in the comptroller's position, there's an opportunity to ensure that the resources being utilized for these kinds of initiatives are in fact being effectively used and not simply ending at announcements or periodic reports.
Thank you. I actually agree with much of what John said. To answer the question in 2 parts, first from the prism of what it is the controller can do to affect these issues. We can do a better job auditing, making sure the money is spent correctly, making sure the money is spent wisely. In terms of the mayor's council, I think it's important to say that while he and I share the same ticket, we don't necessarily share all the same ideas. I think that his program has some good points, but its focus is too narrow. The focus needs to be to get people trained so that they can earn a living and a good living and a living filled with dignity, which allows them to live a life of dignity forever. It shouldn't be some sort of stopgap measure that only helps for 6 months or 8 months or a year. We need to get people on the track to living a sustained life. I remember when I was in school, they used to say, don't give a guy a fish, teach him how to fish. And that's what we need to do. We need to be better at delivering services so that people can become self-sufficient, so that they can live a life of dignity. Because at the end of the day, that's really what this is all about, making sure that each one of us has an opportunity to live a life of respect and dignity. And that's really what our goal should be.
I want to ask both of you about, this is a question about the SNAP, what used to be called food stamps. I certainly want to ask you about the finger imaging, whether you're in favor of that or against it. But I also want to get to 2 other issues that we've touched on before earlier, but you weren't here for those, John. One of the things that I've been asking everybody is, what would you do to help people in this city get federal benefits, especially SNAP? We leave more than $500 million on the table. Could be federal money coming into it's good for business, certainly good for the poorest people in the city. And the mayor has not really been forthcoming in trying to develop a new system to do that. We believe that one of the key things in all of this, of course, is a change of attitude. But the other one is having an electronic system of signing people up. And I mentioned earlier this is working in Ohio. There's, over the past 2 years, 79,000 people have gone to benefit banks that are in nonprofit organizations and churches, temples, whatever, and gotten $134 million of benefits, of federal benefits. We could be doing something similar to that here. The other piece, you guys were just talking about education, is that we have a number of community colleges here, and the same kind of technology, the same kind of software can be used, this benefit bank software can be used in community colleges. There are 1,200 community colleges all over the country. And that same technology could be there so that when somebody signs up, 3 out of 12 million community college students, 3 million of them are poor. And those are the folks who most often drop out. We could be getting them federal benefits with the kind of technology I'm talking about so that they'd be able to stay in school, get an education, and get better jobs. I wanted to find out from, and also, by the way, this is very cost effective from, you guys are trying to be controllers here. This is a very cost-effective kind of system that's being done in certain places around the country. How would you work on that kind of thing? Would you be in favor of it? What would you do to make it happen?
Okay, well, a couple of things. First off, one of the great inspirations for my seeking to serve public service